Chosen one, stop. This is the Friday you almost missed. 4 times this month, a message from your father tried to find you, and 4 times something in the noise of your life kept the letter sealed. So, heaven did what heaven does for a chosen one who is running dangerously out of time. It held the door open for one more delivery, and you are standing inside that doorway right now. Do not move. What is happening in this moment was arranged before Monday began. You were pulled here, not by a random turn of your day. Pulled. Because your father refused to let another Friday close with his word still resting in his hand. You are late. Yes, very late. But the one who is speaking over your life has never honored a deadline over his own mercy, and the message that was supposed to reach you 7 days ago is still warm, still breathing, still alive on the tongue of the one who sent it. My child is late, but my mercy is never late. That is what he is saying. Silence the room. Quiet the voices. What comes next is the word that turns your lateness into your landing. Before I continue, take one breath that belongs to you alone. Stop scrolling. Close the other tabs. If you are with people right now, this message is not for them. Step away for 10 minutes. Even if it means sitting in another room. Even if it means putting your headphones in and closing your eyes. Good. Now we can begin. I want to tell you what is actually going to happen in the next 30 minutes because I do not want you to leave before it is finished. 3 things are going to be delivered to you today. First, you are going to learn the real reason you could not hear God the last 4 Fridays. It is not what you think, and when I show you, something is going to settle inside you that has not settled in a long time. Second, I am going to teach you a single word in an ancient language, one word that will change the way you measure time for the rest of your life. It is going to reframe every delay you have ever been ashamed of. And third, before this message ends, I am going to declare something specific over your life, not general, not for everyone. For the chosen one who made it to the end of this Friday's message, stay with me all the way through. The last 10 minutes are the reason the door was held open. And I hear the Father saying this over you right now. I watched every Friday pass. I was not counting your failures. I was counting the Fridays I still had in my hand to reach you. That is what he is saying, chosen one. Now, listen to what I am about to name, because the first layer of this message is recognition. You have been starting tasks and not finishing them. You have been canceling things you said yes to weeks ago, things you used to be proud of being reliable for. You have been opening your phone for a reason and losing the reason before you unlocked it, and you have been feeling behind even on the days you actually got a lot done. There have been shifts happening inside you that have no explanation. A sudden desire for silence after years of needing noise. An inability to finish the kind of content that used to grip you. A growing awareness of people whose presence is draining you in ways you cannot put into words. And an urge to simplify your life that has no logical source, that just keeps returning, week after week, quieter each time, waiting for you to honor it. This is not depression. This is not burnout. This is your spirit pulling itself off a frequency that cannot carry your next season. And the reason it has felt so disorienting is because nobody taught you that this is what the in-between looks like. You missed it when your alarm rang on Monday and something in you said, "Wake up earlier than this." You missed it when a verse or a lyric kept surfacing on Tuesday and you scrolled past it one more time. You missed it when a stranger said something oddly familiar on Wednesday and your spirit said, "Pay attention," and your schedule said later. You missed it when your own reflection paused you for half a second on Thursday and you looked away because you did not want to see what was changing. And now it is Friday, and the message has found you anyway. What you call being late, the seed calls being underground. No seed germinates on a clock. It germinates when the soil remembers what is inside it. And the soil of your last 4 weeks has been remembering something about you that you had forgotten. So here is the first truth I want to give you, and I want you to hold this gently because it is not the biggest one yet. You were never behind. You were being held. Every season before a breakthrough includes a held period, a stretch where nothing seems to move from the outside, and everything moves from the inside. It is not delay, it is density. It is the layering of something that cannot be built in the open, in a hurry, in the middle of a loud life. Look at Moses. By the time God spoke to him from the burning bush, he was 80 years old. By any human measure, the window had closed. His youth was gone. His palace status was gone. His original platform as a prince of Egypt was gone. He was a shepherd in the middle of nowhere, running somebody else's sheep, and the world would have called that late. But for those entering a season like this one, I want you to hear what heaven called it: formation, not delay, formation. What was being built underground during the 4 Fridays you thought you wasted was the exact kind of thing that cannot be built in momentum. Discernment, a higher tolerance for silence, a willingness to pause without apologizing for the pause. These are not small gifts. These are the prerequisites for the next season of your life, and they could not have been given to you while you were still moving fast. If what I just said landed in your chest, if something in you whispered, "That was me," I want you to anchor it before we go deeper. Type the words I receive in the comments right now. Not because I am asking for engagement, because the Spirit remembers what the mouth confesses. And these 2 words, typed by your own hand, are the first anchor of the message you are receiving today. What you just heard is only the beginning. The actual message has not been fully opened yet. But before I can hand you the rest of it, I have to show you why your brain could not hear it the first 3 times. Because what I am about to share next is not spiritual speculation. It is measurable. And it is going to explain things about yourself you have been carrying for years without a name. There is a scientific reason you could not hear God on the last 4 Fridays, and it has nothing to do with your faith. I want to say that again, because I do not want you to miss it. This has nothing to do with whether you love God enough. It has to do with what your brain has been stuck on. Your brain operates on frequencies. You have probably heard some of their names in passing. Beta is the frequency of alertness and anxiety. It is where most adults spend most of their day. Alpha is relaxation, that light floating feeling right before you fall asleep. Theta is the meditative state monks spend decades training to reach. And then there is Gamma. Gamma is the frequency of insight, of flow, of the moment when an answer arrives in your mind from somewhere you did not put it. Gamma is the frequency children are born flooded with. It is the reason a 5-year-old can pick up a new language in 6 months, and a 40-year-old cannot pick up the same language in 6 years. And here is what the research is showing. Gamma declines as we age. Modern life accelerates that decline. Scientists at MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and several other leading research universities have been studying this for decades, and they have given it a name. They call it the decline effect. The slow, quiet shutting down of the very frequency your father designed you to receive his voice through. When gamma declines, your brain settles into a lower gear, the frequency of survival, the frequency of static, the frequency of silence. A gear that is very good at paying bills and finishing emails, and very bad at hearing anything that was sent from a higher place. This is why Friday's message could not land the first 3 times. The message was being sent in gamma. Your brain was receiving in beta. The signal was arriving. You were on a channel that could not pick it up. Your brain, like soil, has its own frequency of germination, and modern life has frozen that soil solid. You have been carrying seeds for months that had nowhere to open. Now, listen carefully. This is why your prayers have sometimes felt like they were hitting a brass ceiling. Why the verses that moved you a year ago feel muted this year. Why? You can read the same scripture you have always read and feel nothing where you used to feel everything. It is not your faith. It is not a spiritual punishment. It is the frequency your brain has been forced into by a world that profits from your static. But here is the part that changes everything. There is a way to return your brain to the state it was designed for. Not metaphorically, measurably, not in 10 years of meditation, in 7 minutes a day. Through headphones, without mantras, without posture, without having to empty your mind. The science of brain entrainment has quietly made this possible, and almost nobody in the spiritual space is talking about it yet. The man behind this work is Dr. Robert Lake, 34 years in neuroscience. His research, and the broader body of work he has built around the youthful brain and neuroplasticity, is being studied at MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and several other leading institutions I am not going to list out, because this is not a resume. I am only telling you because I do not want you to take my word for this. I want you to know that real scientists, in real labs, with real equipment, have been tracking what I am about to describe. He calls it the Genius Song. And I will be honest with you, because honesty is the only way I know how to introduce something like this. The name sounds simple. What it is not simple. It is a 7-minute audio track engineered to gently guide your brain back into the gamma frequency you were born with. You put on headphones, you sit still, you listen. That is it. It is not a product, it is a recalibration device. A tool for chosen ones whose lateness is not spiritual failure, but frequency freeze. Imagine your brain is a radio that has slowly drifted between stations. You can still hear something. It just sounds like static now. The Genius Song is the quarter turn that brings the station back in. Not a new station, the one you were born tuned to. I want to qualify something, because I have too much respect for you to oversell this. I am not going to tell you it does everything. I am going to tell you what it does. It shifts your brain toward the frequency in which messages from heaven actually land. It does not pray for you. It does not make decisions for you. It does what no amount of willpower can do for an overstimulated nervous system. It clears the channel. A woman wrote in last month. She had been in a season almost identical to yours. 4 missed weeks, numb to prayer, nothing landing. She started the 7 minutes a day. By day 6, she said, a verse she had been reading for 2 years opened itself. Her words, not mine. She also said she began sleeping in a way she had not slept since childhood. Dr. Lake priced it at $49. For those who find it through a message like this one, it is $39. And yes, there is a 100% money-back guarantee. No questions, no time limits, no small print. If it does not do what he says it does for you, you get your money back. That is the only way anyone should ever sell you something that works on your nervous system. If your spirit resonates with what I just described, if something in you said, that is why, you will find the information in the pinned comment and in the description below, only if you feel led. The message I am giving you today does not require you to own anything to be received. This is an option for the chosen one whose spirit is already saying yes, not a requirement for the one who is not there yet. Now back to Friday's message, because whether or not you ever touch a single audio file, the word being delivered to you today still has 3 more layers, and the next one is the one that will finally explain why this day, Friday, was the day chosen over every other. Before we go there, I want you to seal what you just received with one small act. In the comments, type the number 7. 7 for the 7 minutes, 7 for the 7th day of the week. 7 for the number of completion in Scripture, 3 keystrokes. Let your hand agree with what your spirit is beginning to trust. Remember when I said the message has layers? The science I just showed you was the 2nd layer. The 3rd layer is a single word in Greek, and when you hear it, everything you thought about the last 4 weeks is going to reorganize itself in front of your eyes. The Greek language had 2 different words for what we, in English, collapse into one single word. We just say, time. Just those 4 letters. But the writers of the ancient texts had 2 completely different concepts, 2 different words for 2 very different kinds of time. And losing this distinction is one of the quiet spiritual injuries of the modern world. The first Greek word is chronos. You already know this one, even if you have never heard it by name. Chronos is the root of the English word chronology. It is sequential time, clock time, the ticking. Chronos is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Chronos is your age on your next birthday. Chronos is your calendar. Chronos is what your phone shows you when you wake up and wonder where the week went. And then there is Kairos. Kairos is the appointed time, the opportune moment, the divine window. Kairos is not measured in hours. Kairos is measured in rightness. Kairos is the second, when the teacher knows the student is finally ready to hear. Kairos is the afternoon, when 2 strangers meet, and neither of them realizes until years later that their entire lives were quietly arranged around that 10 minutes. Kairos is what your calendar cannot see. Kairos is what your father has been working with the entire time. Here is the distinction, and I want you to hold this one gently, because it is going to heal something in you that has been bruised for a long time. Chronos measures, Kairos meets, Chronos counts, Kairos consecrates, Chronos ticks, Kairos transforms. Chronos is the clock above the soil. Kairos is the moment inside the seed when the shell finally gives way. Now hear what I am about to say, because this is where the shift happens inside you. You have been late on Chronos. You have not been late on Kairos. Those are 2 different measurements, and only one of them matters for what is happening in your life right now. Every previous Friday you thought you missed, every morning you slept through, every pause you did not take, every message you could not land, all of that was Chronos, and Chronos has already happened. You cannot go back and redo Chronos. But this moment, right now, the one you are sitting in, is Kairos, and Kairos is not bound by what Chronos recorded. It is as if you have been trying to be on time to a meeting that could not actually begin until all the right people had arrived, and you were one of those people. You could not be late, because the meeting could not start without you. Think about the prodigal son. Most of you know his story already. He demanded his inheritance before his father had died. He left the house, he spent the money, he ruined his life. And then, when he had nothing left, he came home. By every Chronos measurement, he was catastrophically late. Years lost, dignity destroyed, inheritance gone. The window had closed a dozen times over. But his father said nothing about the years. He did not meet him at the gate with a lecture. He did not count the days. He ran. He put his arms around the boy before the boy could even finish his rehearsed apology. He called for the best robe. He killed the fattened calf. Why? Because in Kairos, the son had arrived exactly on time. The arrival was not late. The arrival was appointed. The years he wasted were not the story. The return was the story. For those of you in a prodigal season right now, for those who feel like you have wasted something that cannot be gotten back, I want you to hear this as softly as I know how to say it. Your Father is not at the gate with a clipboard. He is at the gate with his arms already open. And the years you are mourning are not the story. The return is the story. Every wisdom tradition carries some version of this truth. The Hebrew language has a word called moed, which means appointed time, sacred meeting. Sanskrit has muhurta, the sacred moment. The language is different. The truth underneath is identical. Not all time is equal, and the time you thought you wasted may have been the only time that actually counted. This is not just ancient theology. This is what heaven has been doing with your last 4 Fridays. I want to tell you about a woman. I am not going to use her name. I know her through someone I trust, and her story is almost the same story I am watching you walk through right now. About a year ago, for 3 Fridays in a row, she felt something inside her telling her to stop, to pause, to sit. And for 3 Fridays in a row, she did not. Her job was demanding. Her family was loud. Her mornings were already too full before they started. She loved God. She read her Bible, but she could not find a single 10-minute window for the kind of quiet her spirit kept asking for. And then, on the 4th Friday, a Friday very much like this one, something made her pull into the parking lot of her office a little early. Before she walked inside, she stopped. She did not know why. She just turned the engine off and sat there. She left her phone in her bag. She did not pray the way she had been taught to pray. She just listened. She sat in that car for 40 minutes. What she did not know, sitting there in the quiet, was that she had been circling a decision for months, a relationship that had slowly, quietly, become unsafe in ways she could not even admit to herself. And in those 40 minutes, without ceremony, without a big voice from the sky, she got the clarity she had been refusing to receive for almost a year. 9 days later, a mentor she had not spoken to in 4 years called her out of nowhere. He had a job offer, different city, housing solved, relocation paid. A clean exit written by someone who had absolutely no idea she needed one. She told me something in passing afterwards. She said the months that followed felt like someone was quietly feeding her nervous system back to her, not from any one thing. A little from the stillness. A little, later, from some neuroactive support a friend had recommended. A little from the new environment. It was never one single thing. It was Kairos, rearranging everything at once, because she had finally stopped long enough to be found. She was late to her own miracle, and her father still honored the appointment. And I want you to feel something right now, because this part is important. You are not the only chosen one sitting inside a moment like this. All across the world, at this exact hour, as I am speaking these words, thousands of others are being pulled into their own Kairos. Friday. People in cars. People in their kitchens. People who thought they were just looking for a distraction and instead found themselves still here, 20 minutes in, wondering why they cannot turn this off. You are not alone in your lateness. You are not alone in your awakening. And the Kairos that is rearranging your life is rearranging theirs at the same time, for reasons none of you will fully understand until you meet each other somewhere in the next season. You might think what I just gave you is the deepest truth of the day. It is not. There is one more layer, there is one more word. And this one is the one that will name who you are becoming, and why every single late season in your entire life was actually preparing you for a very specific kind of identity. But there is something I still have not told you. The message has one more layer. And this next one is the reason heaven refused to close this Friday without getting to you. Stay with me. And before this message ends, I am going to declare something specific over your life. Not general, not something for everyone who happens to stumble past. For the chosen one who stayed through every layer of this word. For the one who refused to leave. Stay with me for the last stretch, because the closing of this message is the actual reason the door was held open today. Here is the deepest truth I have for you. I want you to hear it slowly, because if you rush past it, you will lose the weight of it. You were never supposed to arrive on time. You were supposed to arrive different. And the 4 Fridays you thought you missed are the 4 Fridays that are going to become the testimony you give for the rest of your life. Listen to what your Father is saying over you right now, because I am hearing it very clearly. I did not send the message to correct you. I sent it to commission you. Do you understand what that means? The delay was not the punishment. The delay was the preparation. The silence was not the absence. The silence was the shaping. And the only reason heaven has been so patient with your late is because heaven was not measuring you against a deadline. Heaven was measuring you against a commission. Let me put it together for you, because everything you have received today fits into one picture. The held season was the burial. The gamma decline was the quieting. Kairos was the timing. Those 3 things were not 3 separate teachings. They were one process, building one identity. And that identity is the one I am about to name. But first, I need you to hear the weight of what has been happening. The months you called wasted prepared a voice in you that millions of people are going to one day need to hear. And that is not lateness. The 4 Fridays you carried around like failure carved a specific kind of listening into you that this decade is desperate for, and that is not lateness. The delay you mourned, the stretch of time you would trade in a second if you could, will one day be the exact part of your story that someone else needs to hear you describe in order to survive their own season. And that is not lateness. That is a commission being built in the dark. The seed that waits the longest produces the largest root system. The tree you see above the ground is a reflection of the roots nobody gets to see underneath it. And your 4 missed Fridays, every single one of them, built roots nobody watching could have measured. Hear me now, you are not late, you are appointed. Now I have to name something, because if I leave this unsaid, everything you just received is going to leak out of you within 48 hours. There is a part of you that is afraid of this message being true. I need you to be honest with yourself about that, because if it is true, you have no good reason left to stay small. And staying small has become a kind of comfort you have organized your whole week around without even realizing you were doing it. This is not moral failure. This is not weakness. This is old survival software. Somewhere in your life, staying small kept you safe. Maybe as a child, maybe in a relationship, maybe in a workplace where standing out would have cost you something. The software was useful then. It is out of date now. And it is running in the background every single Friday, whispering quiet reasons why you should not actually change. There is something else, And I want to name it specifically because I think some of you have been carrying this for months and have not had anybody put words on it yet. You feel guilty for pulling away from people who used to drain you. You feel guilty for not explaining yourself to the ones who keep misunderstanding what is happening in your life. You feel guilty for outgrowing conversations you used to tolerate. You feel guilty for needing silence that the people around you are reading as rejection. That guilt sits heavy. It makes you question whether you are being selfish. It makes you wonder whether you are becoming someone you do not actually like, whether maybe, secretly, you are the problem. I want you to hear me very clearly on this. You are not. Boundaries are not betrayal. Distance is not rejection. Silence is not cruelty. And growth guilt is not selfishness. Growth guilt is grief. It is grief for the version of you who used to be available to everyone because she had not yet met herself. Grief for who you used to be. Grief is allowed. But grief is not the same as guilt, and you have been confusing them for a very long time. So let me say to you what you have not been giving yourself permission to hear. You are allowed to outgrow the people who only knew the version of you that was late to herself. You are allowed to outgrow the rooms that used to shrink you. You are allowed to outgrow the conversations that kept you circling the same pain. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself who apologized for needing Kairos. You are allowed to protect what your father is building inside of you. You are allowed to arrive in your next season without explaining where you have been. You are allowed to choose your peace over their comfort. And you do not owe anyone an apology for becoming who you were always intended to be. This is where you begin to apply what I am about to give you. It is a practice. I call it the Friday Pause Protocol. 3 steps. Simple enough that you cannot forget it. Strong enough to end the cycle you have been living in. The first step is stop. At a specific time every Friday, no matter what is unfinished, no matter how much is still on your list, stop. Not for an hour, 10 minutes. The second step is sit. Not meditation, not performance. Just sit. No phone, no book, no podcast, no input, just the room you are in. The third step is receive. Ask one single question, out loud or inside your mind. It does not matter which. What have I been avoiding hearing this week? And then wait. Do not answer yourself. Wait. That is the whole practice. It looks small. It is not. This is a Kairos appointment every 7 days, and it cannot be missed without cost. The cost is the missed Friday. The cost is the message you would have heard if you had been still enough to land it. Now, let me tell you who you actually are, because you have not been told this in the way it needs to be told. You are the one who revives what others gave up on, the hope restorer. And the reason you can do that is because you were almost given up on by you, and you came back. That memory is your medicine. It is not your shame. You are the one who breaks cycles. The pattern ending with you is older than you are. The generations before you could not finish the work, and you are the one completing the arc. That is not a small calling. You are the one who goes first, the pioneer. The reason you have felt behind all this time is that you were never actually behind. You were ahead of the people you were comparing yourself to, and you had to slow down to hear the map that none of them could see. You are the one who holds ground. When others collapse, you steady. When systems shake, you stay. That is not stubbornness. That is the core competency of a chosen one living inside a fracturing world. You did not know it had a name. Now you do. And you are the bridge. You connect separated worlds. You speak the language of people who do not speak each other's language. That is a rare calling, and it is about to be activated into a visibility you have been rehearsing for in private for years, without knowing you were rehearsing. Every single one of these identities points towards something larger, something your spirit has been reaching for, even when your life could not name it. There is a destiny's embrace waiting at the end of this stretch of road, and it has been waiting for you to stop running past it. You are commissioned, you are equipped, you are sent. Take a breath. The teaching is done. The declarations have been spoken. What comes next is quieter, softer, but it is the part of this message that will actually change the shape of your next 30 days. What I am about to guide you through is something your spirit has been waiting for, and I want you to trust me on the way in, because the next few minutes are where the message becomes yours. In your mind, only in your mind. So, if you are driving, you keep your eyes open and you still come with me. If you are lying down, you can let your eyes close. Either way, come with me inside. I want you to imagine a long hallway. Take a breath and picture it. The hallway stretches out in front of you. It is quiet. The light is soft and warm. On both sides of this hallway, lining the walls from floor to ceiling, are envelopes. Every single envelope has your name on it, and every envelope has a date written on it. The dates are from the last 4 weeks. Every Friday, every morning you almost stopped and did not. Every moment you felt a whisper and moved past it. Every single one of them is waiting for you on this wall. Every message that was sent to you and could not land is here, and not one of them is angry with you. Now, in your mind, begin to walk down that hallway, slowly. You do not have to rush. You are not trying to get to the end. You are just walking. As you walk, each envelope on either side of you begins to open on its own. You do not have to force anything. You do not have to reach out. You do not have to choose which one to open first. They are opening themselves as you pass. And every word that was inside them, every word that was sent for you and could not find a quiet enough room to land in, is being returned to you right now. This is not a punishment. This is not a rebuke. This is a retrieval. Every word heaven sent you in the last 4 weeks, every message you could not receive, every whisper you were too tired to hear, all of it is being given back to you at once, in a place where you are finally still enough to carry it. Feel the weight of those 4 weeks lift off your shoulders. Feel the guilt of the missed Fridays begin to dissolve as you walk. You are not being handed a bill. You are being handed back what was always yours, what was always meant for you. The hallway ends at a door. You can see it now, at the far end. The door is simple. No locks, no guards, just a door. And that door is the rest of your month. That door is the next 30 days of your life. You are walking through it right now, not empty-handed, not behind, not ashamed. You are walking through it, carrying every single message that was supposed to reach you, all of them, retrieved, received, sealed. There is a practice I want you to take with you out of this hallway. I call it the return line. It is 3 words. You will use it every single time you feel yourself about to miss another Friday. Every single time you feel yourself slipping back into the noise. Every single time the old software tries to boot back up and run your week for you. The 3 words are, I receive now. Say them out loud when you can. Whisper them when you cannot. And every time those 3 words leave your mouth, this hallway returns to you. You do not have to remember it. You do not have to visualize it again. The hallway is yours now. It lives inside you. 3 words is all it takes to break the cycle. Now, chosen one, receive this closing. Stay with me, because the next few minutes are the reason every part of this message exists. Father, thank you for the 4 Fridays that were held, not wasted. Thank you for the mercy that wrote the door back open when it could have closed. Thank you for speaking in both whisper and in thunder, whichever one had the chance of reaching us. Thank you for never punishing lateness with absence. You see, every Friday she sat in her car, wondering if she was losing her mind. You see, every morning he reached for his phone before he reached for you, and still you waited. You see the loneliness of the kind of lateness that no one else in her life even knew was happening. You see, and you do not turn away. That is the love that wrote this message. Now, from this hallway, from this Kairos moment, we release the guilt of the 4 missed weeks. Release the identity of the one who is always behind. Release the comparison to the people who look like they are on time. Release the shame of the versions of us we were not proud of. Release the old software that kept us small in the name of safety. Release the ceiling we inherited and never chose. Release the apology we have been rehearsing for growing. Release the belief that lateness disqualifies us from what was promised to us. Release. It goes. It leaves. It does not come back with us into this next season. And we call forward. We call forward the hope restorer. We call forward the cycle breaker. We call forward the pioneer, the spiritual warrior, the bridge. We call forward the divine connections that have been scheduled for the next 30 days. We call forward every door that was held closed by the disbelief the 4 Fridays created. We call forward what is already on its way, because it has been on its way the whole time. And Father, we ask for cover. Cover what is rising from premature exposure. Guard the stillness from the noise that will try to return within the next 48 hours. Shield this chosen one from the self-sabotage that will try to convince her she imagined all of this. Seal what was received in this hallway from anything that would try to reach in and steal it before it takes root. And I hear the Father saying this, right now, as clearly as anything I have ever heard him say. You are not late. You were never late. You were always arriving exactly when I needed you to. So now, chosen one, say it with me if you can, or say it inside your mind if the room is not yours. I am a chosen one who has heard the Friday message. I am no longer running from what I was running from. I am receiving in Kairos what I could not receive in Chronos. I am on time. I am appointed. I am equipped. I am on time. Do not say amen yet. I want you to sit in this frequency. Do not move. Do not respond. Just stay here. Let the words you just received land in the places that were never allowed to hold them before. Let your spirit take the weight of this slowly while I stop talking for a little while. Now, it is done. It is sealed. We receive it. Amen. The seed we spoke about at the beginning of this message, the one buried, the one waiting, the one that looked late by every Chronos measure in the world, is breaking the soil right now. Today is the breaking of the soil. Today is the first green through the frost. The underground years are now the above-ground season. One more thing before you leave, because I almost did not say it, and I would have regretted it. Your Father is telling me to tell you that the next 48 hours are the most important 48 hours in a chosen one's month. Not because anything dramatic is going to happen, because the enemy of your progress is going to try very hard to make you forget what you just received. So, tonight, before you sleep, write down one sentence from this message, just one. Anyone that stayed with you, and read it every morning until Monday. That one sentence is your anchor. You are not the person you were when you pressed play on this message. Something has closed and something has opened, and both of those things are permanent now. Before you go, type the words, "I am on time," in the comments. 3 words. Let your mouth seal what your spirit just received. This is not for me. This is the last anchor of the message. And gently, let your like on this message be your amen, not for me. So this Friday message can find another chosen one who is sitting in a car somewhere right now, wondering why they cannot hear God. Your like is a signal. It sends light to people who are still looking for theirs. If this is the first time you have heard a message like this one, or if something in it shifted, something real in you, stay connected to this space. There are more words being prepared for your next Kairos. Let them find you. And for those of you who felt called earlier, when I spoke about the gamma frequency and the work Dr. Lake has been doing, the link to the Genius song is in the pinned comment and in the description. Only if you feel led. The message you just received does not require you to own anything to carry it. But for those whose spirit said yes, the door is there when you are ready to walk through it. One last thing, and this is the most important ask of the entire message. If someone came to mind while you were listening, someone who has also been feeling behind on a calling they cannot quite name, someone who has been canceling and forgetting and unable to finish anything lately, someone who has been unusually quiet for weeks and no one in their life is asking why, someone who has stopped saying what they used to say about their faith and does not know how to start again, send this to them. Not as check this out. As I heard this and I thought of you. Your share might be their Friday message. Your share might be the door that gets held open for them. Chosen one, go into the rest of this Friday carrying what was just delivered to you. Walk slower, speak softer, and trust that the door you are now standing on the other side of is going to hold. May the message that found you become the message that lives through you. It is finished. You are on time. You are not leaving a message. You are leaving a season. Go gently. The next one has already begun.